transfer attachment in there. That's, right here's a good chance of putting your back check valve in there in place of it. Okay, so that way if you want to double check, you can always release it. Everything goes good. Okay, so when you put that transfer valve in and you actuate it, what it actually does is it pushes on a lever, pushes a rod straight down. Okay, and when it pushes the rod straight down, it pushes on that seat, spring seat, and that's what opens up to allow liquid to come back through. Now, the reason why you want that back check valve in is you may push that rod down, and then when you get ready to close it back up, well, it's never been used before, and it sticks.
That never happens.
Okay? So, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why you want that back check valve in there.
That's a hat blower too.
Or it's gonna have a liquid withdrawal valve on it permanently.
Yeah.
Right?
You haven't told them about the two before yet, have you?
That's what we were whispering about when you first started this afternoon.
So, yeah. So there you go. There's that. Now, I personally, it's mandatory that you have both liquid withdrawal sight gauge and a pressure. Okay. Now you can get by with one or the other. If you're going to just use one, always use the sight gauge. Now you don't have to get that big monster. You just get that little one. But that sight gauge goes right there off your transfer equipment, right there at the liquid tank that you're removing from. Okay. Because you always want to see that propane flowing at all times, even with your crew compressor. That's going to let you know when that thing starts flapping, it's not full open, and you start seeing bubbles in there and it starts cavitating. That means you've gotten to the point you need to go turn your compressor back on because you don't have enough differential pressure to pull. Okay. You still want to do this also for the Ventura vac, but it's not going to affect it. Okay, because the Ventura vac's just going to continue to draw. Okay. So it doesn't put any pressure on your system, on your tank, okay, or the operating equipment because you don't have any moving parts. Compressor you do.
You need a slight flow glass.
So here you've got everything hooked up. Connected vapor hoses
Wes, I
together.
feel like you're costing me a lot of money.
Christmas is
Maybe it's
canceled.
time for a potty break.
Thanks for dinner.
Good thing you got it last night. You're not getting it tonight, buddy. All right.
All right, so do we need to take a break?
I'm just teasing. We need
Okay.
to plow through. We need
Okay,
to plow through.
I'm trying to get as much as I can
If they
get
need
done
a potty break, they need to just go and
I
come
already
back.
went already.
here. Okay, so you know you're gonna have, with your compressor, you know you're gonna have two vapor hoses. Always make certain before you turn anything on, go back and spray test everything. Turn on one valve at a time until you pressurize that section of the hose. Spray check it to make certain it's full, okay, and that it's tight before you go through and have everything open at one shot and flip it on. Open up one section at a time, open up the vapor, go back to open up the liquid, spray check it, and then turn your compressor on to make certain that you are sealed tight before you actually do your transfer. All right, so you turn your compressor on, you're going to observe the sight gauge, turn it off, let it run, let the differential pressure take care of it. Once the sight gauge, you see on the sight gauge, it starts cavitating or you start seeing some bubbles in there, so it's starting to draw air. You want to go back on and kick it on for about another 3-4 minutes to get more pressure in there to get it. You're going to transfer it out, bleed off the liquid, go to each one of them and bleed off each individually, okay, each section individually from there. Remove it, depressurize it, make certain that you've stored all your tools and your supplies. And then you get to flare it. Okay, so when you're flaring, if you're going to flare on site, and there's nothing wrong about flaring on site. You know, if the customer's got a big enough yard and everything, if they've got a quarter of an acre, you've got enough room to do it, okay? So you can do that. But the things that you need to do is you need to follow these steps here. The first thing you need to do is you need to call the local fire department. And hopefully before you call the local fire department, you've had them come over here and you've bought them pizza that night, showed them everything as far as your plant. And they say, oh man, everything's fine. So no, you just give us a call. So you give them a call and let them know where the flaring is going to take place. Okay? The reason why is this. You're going to have a flame that's going to be 35 to 50 foot tall, and it's going to sound like a jet engine.
That's great.
It does get some attention.
Yeah.
It does.
And they-
Everybody starts hollering about that. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, no. Okay.
Armageddon.
So you want to make certain that
Do
you
it
let
in the
them know
morning.
beforehand. Let them take the phone calls, not you take the phone calls. Okay? Number two, make certain that you have all the liquid evacuated out of there. If you got any liquid in there at all, you're asking for just an extra boom. Okay, and you sure don't want to do that. And I like having hair. Okay, So- all right. So again, you want to move to proper flaring. You want to make certain that you have a 25-foot radius, that you have no combustibles or any trees or any electrical lines or anything else, that you've got it from there. Okay? Now, do you have a homemade flaring tower, or is it,
It's very well
Is this
manufactured.
a trick question?
well, here's the reason why I'm asking.
Do I
Okay.
need to hit
Yeah,
stop?
you better hit pause for that.
Made very
Okay.
well.
It's a well-made.
Well
All right.
made home.
The main thing with the flare, well, I'll show you the pictures. We're just gonna say we're gonna connect the proper equipment, okay? Check your flaring equipment before you start anything else up. Open it up just to allow enough vapor to where you can spray check it to make certain all your connections are tight. Flare the system, okay? And then disconnect and store. Now here's what I'm gonna let you know. Okay, so flaring
Looks just
equipment,
like that.
yeah,
It does look
it really does. Now, what's missing from here?
Propane tank. Stakes in the ground.
A couple different things. The main thing is this. Under new codes, now if you built your own, you can still get away with it. But under new equipment, okay, you've got the stakes here for this, okay? But you should have a second tube that comes up here. And there should be a hose that comes down here to a 20 or 30 pound cylinder. The reason why you do that is before you light the big thing, you light your 20-pound cylinder so you have a flame to start there. Because once you start flaring that tank, if you have any type of burp or anything out of that tank and it flares off, you know, the flame cuts off, you have a constant supply of flame, so when it catches back up, it'll do it. So for safety reasons, it has to have this second hose up here, so it'll actually, you can start that one first, off that 20-pound cylinder, and you keep it running the entire time while you're flaring that tank, because you don't want those burps and everything else like that. So that's what you're looking for.
I think we're good.
All right, so you've got your gas lines, your burner supports.
You did a pretty good job on
Do make certain that you're wearing personal protection equipment. There's anything worse than when you have somebody coming out and they've called somebody, and not only did they call the fire department, they called the local EMS or they called OSHA, right? And you're out there and you don't have safety glasses on. Well, guess what? You did everything right, but you didn't have safety glasses on, but here's your sign. So it's happened.
And your ticket.
I've learned, okay? So, make certain it's for vapor service, that it's intended for flaring operations, making certain that you realize how much time it takes to flare a tank. Now, how many times have you flared tanks before? Okay, so with the 250, yeah, with the 250, how long is it usually taking you to flare that tank?
Well, 300 or 500.
It's usually
Oh, okay.
500. It probably takes at least half hour, probably maybe 45 minutes.
Okay, so yeah, you've done it. Yeah, so you're looking somewhere between 45 minutes to an hour and a half to actually flare a tank off properly.
We leave it wide open.
If you leave it wide open, yeah, you like that sound of jet engines.
Sometimes we calm it down a little bit so we don't get so much attention.
Yeah,
You guys better not do
That's
another
about
one
right
without
for
me here.
What's that?
You better not do another one without me
No,
here.
you won't.
That's about right.
I haven't
We
seen
haven't
it.
done one for a while.
Less than 45 minutes to an hour on 500.
marshmallows, bring your marshmallows.
About right.
yeah. I can tell you've had yours wide open. and
Oh,
stuff.
well, of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah.
You gotta see how high can
But-
you make it
For a
go.
second,
Yeah.
especially if the wind's blowing, you want it more.
Oh, yeah, one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's according to where you're at and everything else, but yeah, on an average, 45 minutes to
We
an hour,
actually
hour
had
and a half.
liquid coming out of it.
Yeah, that's what I
just pulled it
yeah.
so hard.
Yeah.
But we had slow.
That's when you start seeing that frost on top of
Well,
it.
you
It's
know,
like,
the droplets would come out and hit the ground and
That was the one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
we're
you
gonna have to delete this segment.
hey, it's been a good segment though. It's been
I
good
think we got
questions and everything else.
before we
All
start.
right.
Yeah, I think so.
Again, these
Or
flaring
something on the
hoses
side. I don't know.
have to be rated at 350
Liquid
psi
withdrawal valve.
and 1750. Always make certain that they've got the hydrostatic reliefs at the end so you can bleed them also afterwards. Make certain that you've got everything gathered up. Assemble your supply lines, spray check it before you do. And with the new ones, they've actually got a metal breakout box about the size of this. So you got your hose running to the flare, you got your hose running to the box from the tank, you've got your hose running from the box to the 20-pound cylinder. So it's like a 3-hose thing, it's like a breaker box with the new ones now, with the dragon tails, red dragons. So, okay. Spray check it, and away you go from there. So again, here we've got for ignite the burner. So you always want to make certain that you ignite that 20-pound cylinder first. Check the pressure. Here's the only thing that you were running into, because you had it wide open. So once you have auto refrigeration, that's where you have to shut it back down. You usually run it about 3/4. Okay, and that's the reason why you go for the extended period on time.
So should we not be using 3-inch pipe? That's it.
No, you can.
It makes
No,
a big flame.
no,
Makes- no, okay.
seriously, the size of the pipe itself doesn't matter.
Still on the-
Okay, it's the pressure that's going to be exerted through that pipe. Okay, now if you've got a 500-gallon tank and you got vapor in it, and let's say it's a warm day outside anyway, let's say it's 80 degrees, you're going to have some high pressure coming out of there. So that 3-inch pipe anyway is going to sound like herd of
So
bull.
does it take a little,
Yeah,
does
that's
it take a
what.
little longer to burn them off in the winter then?
Yes, it actually does.
Would it be safer then to do it in the winters?
Yeah, because the snow will put up.
Not really.
Aggressive.
Not really.
Okay.
I mean, as long as you're the 25-foot radius and stuff, it's not going to make a difference either way, because you're not throwing sparks or, well, liquid. Yeah, there went the burnt grass.
Yeah, it did sizzle her up pretty good.
So that's where you get into auto refrigeration. So when you got it cranking, you only open it up 3/4, because you don't want to have that auto refrigeration. Because all that does, it's going to take you an additional, for the auto refrigeration, when you shut it back down, it's going to take you 30 minutes to actually get back to the style that you wanted to be in the first place. So just added 30 minutes, 45 minutes to the burn time that you got for flaring. Disassemble it, and remember, give that dragon tail or whatever piece of equipment that you've got a good 30 minutes before you go over there and pack it up and do it, okay? I don't know why, but, you know, people just don't seem to think, don't touch, hot leg, Mexican restaurant, yeah. All right, so that's got it for tank and evacuation cylinders, all right? Any question about that? Nothing real fancy.